This is Harry Judd for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm joined by the man himself, one and only Dave Coldwell. First of all, how are we?
All right, thanks, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. So we had a bit of time away with Board Masters. We spoke a bit off the camera there, but yeah, talk to me about that. How was that?
Yeah, it was good. I just went down for the weekend, Friday afternoon. So I was there Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night. Stuck in the traffic jams for like 4.5 hours trying to get out. But other than that, it was brilliant. Weather was unbelievable. It's the first time I've ever been to Cornwall, to Newquay. My family have been down there a couple of times, but with dates and fights and stuff, it's like they were there for the week. But because I had a fighter on preparing for a fight, at that point, it got cancelled as well. So the plan was for me to go down on the Friday, and that's what we were.
We didn't get to catch up after Sheffield, but what a performance by Hopey Price on that bill. 8-0 now. Getting us back up. Yeah, great performance by Hopey Price in Sheffield a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I was absolutely on the moon with Hope. Another good performance. Basically like almost flawless, almost. But yeah, coming off the back of a testing time for him. The first serious injury of his career, he had a bad back injury that put him out a couple of months, and then literally the two closest friends that he's got. Both dying in a horrific car accident, really hit him for six. So yeah, that just him getting in the ring was a big challenge for him. Still, it's not like he went off the rails or anything like that. But when I'm talking about a kid being down emotionally, that was that was a horrible time for him, and it showed what a character he is. Because when he made the ring walk, and I know he noticed he changed his ring tune, and he came out to a song for his friends. You don't know how their emotions are when they get in the ring, because you can hold it together through training and things like that. But then on fight night, sometimes emotions take over, and that leads to making the wrong decisions in fights. But he didn't. He was very, very professional, and he kept his mind where it needed to be. And yeah, it was a very, very mature performance from him. I'm over the moon with him.
It was a good card. Just talked about a few of the other fights. Obviously, Johnny Fisher coming back with an emphatic knockout on that night.
Do you know what, Johnny Fisher? I've always said he's improving. He's improving immensely. He's got a very good coach in Mark Tibbs, who's a very experienced coach with heavyweights, doing a fantastic job on him. But Johnny seems to have got this. He's got a great attitude. He's got an attitude where he wants to learn, and he understands that he's got to take baby steps. But the steps that they're putting in front of him is he's performing each time, and I thought it was a very, very good performance. Because the first round, the guy come out at him and he was slinging him over there, and trying to put him under pressure, and that's good. That's good for Johnny. He doesn't need guys that are just going to go in there and put their hands up and wait to get knocked out. But he dealt with that in the first round, and then came out and did his job. But great punch picking. He's very, very young. He's very, very inexperienced. So with time and development with Mark, then he's got a great future ahead of him. And I hope so as well, because he's a great character. I actually bumped into him down in Newquay, and I bumped into his dad first, and a couple of days later, I
They
think on
get
our
everywhere,
last,
those lot. They
and
get
then on
everywhere.
the, uh,
They get everywhere, them lot.
I know, I know. I couldn't believe it when I saw him. But then a couple of days later, I saw Johnny as well on my last day. So yeah, nice people, but he sells a lot of tickets. It shows you how popular he is, and he's entertaining as well. And they've both got charisma, both him and his dad. So all the ingredients are there to project him and to help. So promoters, want to take the time, want to look after him. As long as they do that, and they go at the pace that Mark's happy with, then he's got a very bright future.
What did you make of Campbell Hatton? Someone that again, it's a tough fight, but again, improving all the time.
I didn't see it live. I've only seen a little part for me to talk about it that much, but it's improving. He's getting experience, and again, another kid that's got the right attitude. He's always going to be under the pressure. Same as your Nigel, Conor Benz with Nigel, and your Eubank juniors with senior. You know, anyone that's got a surname of a successful, especially how successful these guys' dads are, any with that sort of brand name is under some immense pressure. So just to deal with that in itself shows a lot about his character. And yeah, he's improving. He's doing what he needs to do, and he'll continue to learn. And you know, obviously, he'll be looked after and be given the time that he needs.
But what about the main event? What a great performance by Dalton Smith. We all knew, or we all have spoken about with how good he is, but what a great performance.
Yeah, Dalton's a very, very talented kid, you know, and he's been touted for quite a while now. And he came out of stepped into the limelight. That was his show, that, you know, his hometown, topping the bill, fighting for his first British title, first major title. And he went out there and he didn't put a foot wrong. And, you know, again, somebody that showed a level of maturity there. He's on, what is he, 24? He's still inexperienced, just gathering that momentum. And, yeah, a very good performance, and great to see him become British champion. I think he's an outstanding prospect that allowed development and not rushed. I think he's one of the stars of the future in British boxing.
Someone that was in attendance was Lerrone Richards. You know, can you give us some inclination in where he's currently going? Obviously now left Matchroom. Yeah, what's the next steps for him?
All I know is he's training. He's training hard. Obviously we're not working to make his weight or anything like that now because there's no date yet. But hopefully his management gets something sorted in the next few days. It's just going on and on and on. So hopefully, I know they're in talks with different people. But yeah, we'd like to have a fight date.
I can't have you here without obviously the big fight this weekend, AJ-Usyk. Just get your initial thoughts. Oh, there's lots of coverage out there in Jeddah, but what you've seen or out there, has your opinion changed in it? I don't know which way you've gone, but has it changed with what you've seen? Obviously, Usyk having the weight gain and Joshua becoming slimmer. Has your opinion changed as it's come closer to the fight?
It's not as much that my opinion's changed from what's out there. It's because I'm doing a lot of I'm just watching that first fight a lot, and I've always watched Usyk a lot anyway, but I'm watching that fight a hell of a lot at the moment. And whereas originally, I thought it was, to be honest, I thought it was quite clear Usyk victory in a rematch. The two different fighters now, so many different permutations, so many different things that have ingredients that have gone into this rematch. Obviously, the change of trainers, the fact that AJ believes and for all intents and purposes did take the wrong approach to the first fight. They've both spent 12 rounds with each other now, so who takes what from that. The weight gain, if there is a weight gain, we'll know at the weigh-in tomorrow. That's when I'll kind of know a little bit better, but for myself on how I feel about this fight, because the weight gain is an issue as well. If Usyk has put on a lot of weight, and if it's a lot of mass and bulk, then how does that affect his performance? Because that, for me, might not be an advantage. That might be a disadvantage. You don't know how Usyk's going to react emotionally to what he's been going through and what his people have been going through in Ukraine. There's so many different things where we just don't know, because it's quite unique. It is a unique fight. So it's not as easy, cut and dried as what I thought it was. And AJ did have success in that first fight, and people forget that. And I think when you watched it on the night, you kind of looked at it and thought, wow, it really got took to bits. But then when you watch it and you watch it and you watch it, and you see certain shots that did have an effect, and see certain things that did have an effect, but just didn't do enough of. And obviously didn't do enough of because what Usyk did. But is how he reacted to what Usyk was doing. And if he can change that, and obviously his mindset and with the coaching of Robert Garcia, Angel Fernandez, and whoever else is in that team, then he's going to have more success. And what you have to remember is AJ can punch, and people don't give him credit for what he's achieved in his career. For him to have achieved what he has done, forget about picking up the belts. Look at the division that's there now, and look at the guys that he's already beaten. He's beaten some good fighters. You don't beat those kind of fighters unless you're good. You don't beat them if you're shit. People like to think that he's not very good and he's exposed by. No, Usyk's elite, and that style of Usyk is a nightmare for anybody. For anybody. So the thing is that AJ's got going from as well is that he's gone into a rematch before where he's lost really badly. The Ruiz loss was demolished. He was absolutely demolished, destroyed. And yet he picked himself up, went into an immediate rematch and fought a completely different way. And they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, he learned a few new tricks. Not just that, in that one preparation for that one fight, he went and when the pressure was on, he went and boxed in a certain way that nobody thought he could box. Big, stiff, robotic. That was all gone. He was smooth. He was fluid. His movement was fantastic. That's not the way he's going to box on Saturday night. Don't get me wrong. But what I'm saying is he has already shown going into rematch that he can learn new things and go in there and look completely different to what he did in the first fight. That for me is more impressive than if he'd have just gone back out there against Ruiz and because now he took him seriously or whatever you want to say and landed his bombs and got rid of him. Because he showed there that he's got another dimension. He's got a capability of learning fast. So when you add Robert Garcia in, if they've gelled, then with the experience that Garcia's got and the style of fighters that Garcia likes to work with, this is an interesting fight because it's a more suited style to refine that's needed in this fight than what he had to do against Ruiz, which was jab, move, box, move. So it's interesting. It's an interesting fight, and like I said, coupled with if Usyk is heavier, does that make him slower? Does that make him easier target to hit?
Do you think hypothetically, if you were in the corner in the first fight, when the rounds were going and we could see how the fight was being played out, what would you have done in those instances?
Oh, it's easy to say that and say what I would have done then because you're not in that moment. It's not happening there. But just little things like I wouldn't be telling him that I thought he was doing great. I wouldn't be telling him that if I didn't think he was doing great. I wouldn't be telling him he was doing great. I'm quite honest. I'm quite honest with my fighters in the corner. And if I feel as though things aren't working or aren't going our way, then I will speak the truth, sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, what would I do? What does it matter? It doesn't really matter, does it? Point is, it's only what counts now is going forward.
There has been a lot of discussions out there. I mean, I bet you've seen the Johnny Nelson clip in terms of if he loses, that should he retire? Again, just to get your initial thoughts on that, are there big fights out there if Joshua does lose?
I haven't seen like the full context of what Johnny said there. If he said it like I'm going to say it. If AJ was to get beat after all he's achieved and what he's accomplished and the finances that he's earned and the sheer commitment is shown to this sport, if he hasn't got that desire then to climb back up there, and if he hasn't got then the desire to carry on with his career to the max same level as at least the same level as what he has done so far, then yeah, I can understand why people would say maybe it's time, maybe he'll retire then. But if he wants to, and if he thinks, all right, listen, Usyk is Usyk. Like I said to you, he's a style and an ability and an IQ on him that is going to be a problem for every single fighter out there. even if he gets beat, unless he gets caught first round with one big shot, he's gonna give you problems. He's a very, very good fighter. So to say, oh, he needs to retire because he lost to Usyk twice, maybe it's just that man that's just got his number. Maybe it's just that man that's got his number, because that can happen in boxing. But it's all down to AJ's desire, and I haven't seen Johnny's clip. And if Johnny's talking about, oh, he's achieved this, maybe he won't have that same drive and desire. And if he hasn't, then yeah, he should retire. But he might learn from that fight and think, okay, right. And when you're saying, what is there other big fights out there? Of course, there's big fights out there for. It's Joshua against Wilder, massive. Joshua against Fury, massive still. Joshua against Dillian Whyte, massive. There's massive fights out there. There's still fights out. You're not telling me that boxing fans aren't going to watch it. So, is the big fights out there for him? Yes. If he chooses to carry on, I would just say I would hope that he will still have the same drive, at least of what he's got now. Because if he's there and he drops to there, and the drive was there, he needs the drive to be even higher to get back to where he was, because he's going to be knocked down a peg. And then that mental anguish and that upset, he's got to overcome that, and then find that when training's hard again, that the money doesn't matter, the lifestyle doesn't matter, and he still wants that. If he says that, yeah, he's still got that hunger and that determination to get back to top, why not? Why not?
Is this more mindset over physical capabilities with boxing in this fight, Dave?
In this fight, it's both. He's got to have the right mindset, not overthink, and not give Usyk too much respect on what Usyk's doing, and take control and use his physical attributes and be, like he's talking, be the man in there, just go in there, and look to impose himself and smash Usyk up. It's easier said than done, but that's why he's got to be intelligent, man. That's why I'm saying, when he's got like people like Robert Garcia, who has that style, but his fighters are still intelligent fighters when they're going forward and taking you to bits and smashing you up. They're still intelligent fighters. It's not a case of just walking out there and swinging away, Marco Huck style, thinking that you just got to swing and walk forward and you're going to outlast him. It's not like that, But if he puts his mind and his physical attributes together, then of course he can win the fight. Usyk's fantastic, but you're always gonna, when you're in against a man that's so much bigger than you are always having to work so hard to be the top man because of the physical attributes. But that man's got to be able to use them, and if you can take them away again, I think the first round is very important. The first round, 2 rounds, very important. AJ's got to have success, whether that's touching his body, his chest, his arms, his shoulders, his ribs. Just keep working downstairs. As long as if Usyk, he doesn't have to get rid of Usyk inside 5-6 rounds, but he has to put enough damage on Usyk that in the second half of the fight, when Usyk likes to put the pedal on, put the foot to the pedal and start turning it up while you're getting tired, he's got nothing in the tank. He can't. He's picked up damage. He's got sore ribs. His shoulders ain't a little bit. He's got to put some damage on him to stop him from doing what he wants to do.
We all talk about how clever Usyk is, how brilliant he is, and we all know he is a fantastic athlete and boxer. But is there anything that you've seen that is not a strong point for Usyk?
Yeah, I don't think, I'm not saying he can't take, but he don't like getting it to the body. He don't like getting it to the body. I don't listen. Nobody likes getting it anyway, but he doesn't look as comfortable when you go downstairs. The reactions, little tells when you go downstairs to the body. But he's very good, and he's very strong-willed, because he will understand that he's going to lose rounds. It doesn't matter if he's, even in the rounds that he loses, he's making them work so hard. So he takes just as much physically and mentally out of them as what it does himself. And his focus of mind and strength of mind takes over, which is why I'm saying, even in the early rounds, AJ's got to slow them legs up, got to slow him up, and put some damage on him.
You said the first round's important. How do you predict this fight going on? Do you reckon it makes the full 12?
No, I don't actually. I don't. I think either way it's a stoppage, because it's all right as well. He's saying about putting pressure on and let his hands go and working his body and firing, punching with more venom. But then when you look at sometimes when AJ is opened up, he's opened up quite wide and he leaves a lot of gaps. And you can see Usyk exploiting those gaps. So he's got to be intelligent. But this is where I'm saying he's been learning how to fight in that way and picking up new traits with Robert Garcia. So I expect him to be tighter and more compact, even when he's letting go of his, when he's letting go of a combination. You like to go into a fight like this, giving him credit that he's improved on certain elements that have been weaknesses, or certain elements. So even when he's unloading, he's leaving gaps. Maybe that's been tightened up, and if that's the case, it gives him a greater chance.
So again, I'm gonna have to put you for a number. Who wins the fight in the end? You got to give me a guess.
You put me on a wrong day because I want to wait until I see the weigh-in.
Okay.
I want to see what Usyk's weighing.
So if Usyk weighs what, in terms of break that down for me, if Usyk weighs,
you're not going to get a prediction out of me today. But I want to see him. I want to see him at the weigh-in. I want to see what they look like. I want to see what Usyk looks like. Because there's weight. I don't know. I want to see. It's changed because I've watched the fight so much. I'm working for Sky, so I've been watching the fight, watching it over and over and over and over again. And like I said, initially, I just thought Usyk all day. But the more I watch it, actually, the more you think, with adaptations, with the change that you would hope that Garcia's managed to make, knowing Garcia's style of coaching, then you think, okay, this is interesting. But yeah, listen, everyone's got opinions, and most opinions are that it's Usyk all day. I would right now sat here, I will still say Usyk's the favourite, but it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if AJ beat him.
Another fight which has been announced. We're at the press conference on Friday. Again, just to get your initial reaction or your initial thoughts on Benn and Chris Eubank. An epic fight, a legacy fight continues, born rivals. What was your thoughts when that came out?
When I first heard it was very close, I was like, what? I was shocked. I think it's a mad fight. It's a crazy fight. But, mate, it's exciting. Those two going at it. It's going to be a tear-up. It's going to be exciting. And you're going to watch it. And if you say you're not going to watch it and you actually don't watch it, then don't moan if you watch a boxer going there. Don't say, oh, I don't like to watch boxing. I want to see people going at it. And then you tell me you're not going to watch Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. because this is going to be a tear-up.
What do you make of, because Eubank Jr. once seen it in his corner, what did you make of that? I mean, the only thing we've seen of Senior so far is on MasterChef.
I didn't know that. So Senior's going to be in the corner.
So Chris Eubank Jr. on Friday on TalkSport and in an interview with me said that he's tried to be in contact. He hasn't heard anything from his father for a while, and especially in terms of this fight. So he would like, instead of Roy Jones in his corner, he would like his dad in there.
Okay, so that would tell me that he's going back old school to the old Chris Eubank Jr. Hands up, nice and tight, walking forward and looking to bully him and let go of those shots. Like I said, this fight is fireworks all over.
Who's got more to lose?
I thought that the hybrid Roy Jones sort of style, if you implement that style, that gives Benn more of a chance.
Who's got more to lose?
Junior. Because what is he, 32? He's not really had the big successes of his career yet, really. He's not had his big world title fights. If he was to lose to a welterweight, then how does he progress in his middleweight division? So he's got a hell of a lot to lose, and that's why I take my hat off to him. Is both fighters have got so, because the pride, the name, they've both got so much to lose. Don't get me wrong on that. But if you're talking in purely professional term, then it's Senior, because Conor Benn just goes back to welterweight and says, "Well, we took a risk. It was wrong. We got beat. Crack on." But Junior, it's a tough one. But at the same time, obviously he's coming down to a weight. He's coming down to a weight where he's not boxed at. At 32, that's gonna have an effect. So, but he's agreed to that. So you can't say I got beat because. So if you when you're doing a catch weight or anything like that, if you're agreeing to take a fight, if you go to that weight, if you agree and you sign, you say, okay, I can do, what is it, 157? I can do 157. If you do 157 and then you get beat, you can't then say, oh, you only beat me because of this, you only beat me because of that. It might be the reason, but you can't ever speak it because you've said that you can make that weight and you still think that you'll beat that man at that weight. So you can't really use that as an excuse. But the flip side is, for me, if you beat a man that's had to come down in a weight that he shouldn't be coming down to and has got a rehydration clause, I don't know what it is, but apparently there is one, then also at the same time is, take it for what it is, you beat him on the night, but have you beat the best version of him? So I think for both fighters, there's things to lose, there's things to gain, obviously the pride, the family name and all that sort of stuff, and just the huge magnitude of this fight. But for both fighters as well, they're actually, they're actually both at a bit of an handicap. Neither of them are going to be at their best, which is why I think this is such a mad fight, because Eubank surely can't be at his best getting to 157 and having a rehydration clause. Surely. Conor Benn surely can't be at his best when he's a welterweight, and he's not the biggest welterweight, but he's a welterweight going up to whatever he comes in at, 153, 154 probably, 15, yeah, probably. So maybe he's not at his best, but it's just a one-off fight. It's a crazy fight, and it's all about the money. So fair play. The problem is neither of them can get a big fight that suits right now. Eubank Jr. can't get his big fight at middleweight. Conor Benn can't get his big fight at welterweight. And the top guys at welterweight, they're a little bit elite, out of his reach right now at this stage of his career. He's massively improving, but they're a little bit too good, and probably the money's not going to be that great. So looking around, what fight can we make? Does DAZN need a big pay-per-view draw? Here we go. Put them together. There you go. They're earning shitloads of money, and they're gonna secure. I think they're already secured, aren't they? But the family's like that. So, and plus, it's a massive fight where everybody's talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. Don't get it twisted. People trying to say, "Oh, it'll not." I seen somebody say that another fight's going to sell more. No, it's not.
Oh,
Yeah. And that's a good fight. Joyce Parker, great fight. I can't wait to see that fight. I will buy a ticket to go and see that fight. That's a really good fight. But it ain't gonna do more pay-per-views than Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. So that's getting a little bit carried away. This is a fight that everyone's talking about.